What's good YouTube, back with another video. In this tutorial I'm going to be going over this distorted background sliding effect inside After Effects. It's a lot more simple than it looks once we actually break down the transition. So here in After Effects I have this clip playing from the Roddy Ricch and Lil Durk music video, and what we're going to do in order to get started is we're going to rotoscope our subject, and in order to do that I'm going to double click and go into the layer, and then I'm going to grab the roto brush tool. And in order to make your brush bigger, what you want to do is hold the control button and left click and drag your mouse, and that makes it bigger. And if you accidentally select something and you want to get rid of it, you hold the alt button and then left click and just drag over it, and it gets rid of unwanted areas. So what I'm going to do is rotoscope my subject. So once you have your subject rotoscoped, what you want to do is go frame by frame just to make sure that your subject is really locked in. And once you're sure about your rotoscoping, you want to then click the freeze button, which locks in the rotoscope. So after hitting the freeze button, you want to then go back into the composition, and then in the composition we're going to have our rotoscope layer. You want to then duplicate this layer and bring that layer underneath, and I'm going to rename this to Durk BG, which stands for background. Make sure to name your layers just so it's easier for you to know what you're working with. So after duplicating the layer, get rid of the roto brush effect for that background layer, and now we have the rotoscope layer on top and then the background layer. So in order to actually create the transition, what I'm going to do is add an effect called the motion tile to the background layer, and we're going to be keyframing the tile center. So make sure to hit this stopwatch button and then click your layer and click U to reveal the keyframes, and then I'm going to make the background slide transition 30 frames long. If you hold the shift button and click page down, it goes forward 10 frames, so 10, 20, 30. And I'm going to have this slide down exactly where our rotoscope subject is, so it's going to be 620. This is what we have so far. It's feeling a bit slow, so what I'm going to do is grab these keyframes and I'm going to easy ease, and then I'm going to make sure I have the motion blur on. Just make sure you have the motion blur on for all of your layers, and then I'm going to go into the graph editor, and what I'm going to do is have background sliding in a little faster in the beginning and then ending slower. So this is what we have, and that's feeling a lot smoother than what we had before. And then in order to distort the background, we're going to add an effect called optics compensation, and for this effect you want to make sure that you keyframe the field of view at 0 in the beginning, and then I'm going to go 10 frames forward and keyframe the field of view at 100, and you want to make sure you have your reverse lens distortion clicked, and then I'm going to go another 10 frames forward and have that at 0. So after keyframing that, you want to then easy ease your keyframes, and then I'm going to go into the graph editor, and I'm just going to have the beginning a little faster. For the end, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So this is what we have so far. In order to create the clone effect as the background slide transition occurs, what I'm going to do is duplicate this twice, and I'm going to have both these layers at the bottom, and then what I'm going to do is keyframe the position for both the top two layers. I'm going to go 12 frames forward. I'm going to have the top layer keyframed at 560, 540 for the position, and then I'm going to have the second layer keyframed at 760 just to make the distance between the three subjects equal. And then what I'm going to do is go towards the end, and right when the background transition ends, I'm going to have the position keyframed at its original position for both the top two layers. And make sure to grab those layers and easy ease the keyframes. And then what I'm going to do is go into the graph editor and have it go a little faster in the beginning, and then slows down in the middle, and then it ends fast at the end. So I'm going to do that for the second layer as well. Just have a similar graph. So it goes fast in the beginning, and then it slows down, and then it goes out fast again. So this is what we have so far, and modifying those graph editors makes it feel a lot smoother. So you definitely want to modify your graph editors when you can. In some cases you don't always need to, but when it comes to a lot of transitions, modifying the graph editors can definitely make your transitions look a lot smoother. And then for the final effect, what we're going to do is create a zoom in and zoom out effect just to add more movement with our transition. So what we're going to do is right click, create a new adjustment layer, and we're going to add an effect called transform. And what I'm going to do is keyframe scale at 100 in the beginning, and then I'm going to go 12 frames forward, and I'm going to have it scale in at 150, and then go towards the end and scale it back to 100. Make sure to grab those keyframes and easy ease, and then go into the graph editor and create a similar graph to the other ones. So I'm going to have this at around 85. And this is what we have. So that's all there is for the transition, and as I mentioned, modifying those graph editors just really puts this entire transition together. But yeah, that's all there is for this video. If you guys found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.